Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Outta My League. I'm Nick Diaz. One of the most frustrating things that you can see in your workplace, at school, in life in general, is people not succeeding in no-talent situations. In other words, people choosing to not do what they are supposed to do. That's always pissed me off the most. So LSU Hoops lost on the road to Arkansas. Now, that won't hurt their tournament seeding to get off of that dreaded 8-9 line and up to the coveted 7 seed. As a matter of fact, the Tigers didn't move a single spot in the NET rankings at all. But now, the situation is LSU has one last guaranteed chance, to get a Quadrant 1 win, and it's at Missouri this week, to ensure that you're not just some sacrificial lamb in the second round of the NCAA tournament. They have to do that by beating Missouri. And look, so what if you lost to Arkansas on the road? They also just beat Alabama, and they've won 8 straight games. They're in the top 20 and climbing. They're pretty good, okay? And if you want to get into moral victories, not that I like moral victories, but LSU, they were up at halftime. And when I was watching the first half, the first thing that I noticed was, look, the rebounding. I wrote it down when I was taking notes for the game. This is the best rebounding I've seen from LSU all season long. And then I started to ask myself, why in the hell didn't LSU do this to Georgia? I mean, look, if you shoot the ball and the ball doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. If you jump as high as you can and someone else just jumps higher, well, that's that. But the sheer lack of rebounding and defense that you saw against an inferior opponent last Tuesday versus a significantly better opponent on Saturday, that is a choice you are making. You are willingly making a choice to not give a shit. That's all that tells me. There is no other explanation. Now, don't ask me why this LSU basketball team, when compared to other Will Wade teams, why they seem to continuously do this week after week, because I've given up on trying to answer that. I just have. I've talked about how this team is flawed, their roster is flawed, through no fault of Will Wade, because there's a lack of rim protectors due to injuries and transfers. They've all put Will Wade at a disadvantage. However, that doesn't explain the lack of discipline this team shows, and I can't give you an exact answer. But, as a wise man once said, wisdom is not having all the right answers. Wisdom is asking all the right questions. So, let me ask you this question. Who is the leader on this LSU basketball team? I'm waiting. See, the fact that you had to pause is telling. Now, maybe some of you came to the conclusion of Darius Days. Maybe you came to Javonte Smart. But you had to pause, didn't you? And that silence gives you more answers than any yelling and screaming from me on a microphone ever will. And it's a lot easier for Ed Ogeron to coach a team when Joe Burrow is cursing out the entire offensive line because they didn't break the huddle loud enough, going up 60-14 against Northwestern State. And you can say the same thing for Will Wade right now in the situation he's in, because you know what it takes to be successful? This is not something I came up with, by the way. This is just something that's common knowledge to the best people in each industry, sports or not. What it takes to be successful is being continuously great at the things that take no talent. And that's not a choice Will Wade can make or the fans can make. That's a choice the players make themselves. Thanks for listening to Outta My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook in the description link below.